New York knows football. How about 5-1 next to the Giants' name after a win over Baltimore at home? Banged up, but not knocked out. Saquon Barkley, again, fantastic. From scrimmage, no one better this season. This time, it's 22 attempts for 83 yards, a rushing touchdown that came late in this game off a Lamar Jackson giveaway, which has been the story of late. Baltimore struggling in the fourth, Lamar specifically throwing another untimely interception that led to 6 points by the Giants and another notch in the win column for Brian Daboll and company. And for more, we say hello to our man in the booth, Charles Davis, on the call in this one. CD, what a game and another amazing performance by this Giants team. I mean, you've been in a lot of different buildings, around a lot of different players and personnel. How much is self-belief really worth? Because this roster is far exceeding the talent on that list right now under Brian Daboll.
It's worth a ton, Joe. And here's the thing about self-belief. You have to give people a reason to believe in themselves. You have to make sure they feel like you believe in them. And I think that Brian Daboll and his staff have done exactly that. During the game, Ian Eagle and Evan Washburn and myself, there's one point we made, and I think we're going to stick by it pretty strongly. Mike McDaniel going into Miami and telling Tua Tagovailoa, you're my quarterback, I believe in you, and then reinforcing it, has contributed to Tua being very good before he got hurt during this season. And he feels like, yeah, someone believes in me. I feel the same thing here with Daniel Jones. Remember, the Giants didn't pick up his fifth year. That's telling him something, right? That's telling him, hey, boy, we're not sure about you. Brian Daboll did not come into this program and look at Daniel Jones and talk to him like there's a chance he'd be gone next year. I think Daniel Jones feels that, and we're seeing that in his play as well. Has he been spectacular throwing the ball? No. But here's the big thing. Joe, remember, he was averaging over a turnover a game for his career. He's now turned it over 3 times this season.
Yeah, he's
okay. Well, actually 4 because of that one that was swatted out of his hands right at the end of the half. But that's it. Nothing of major, value, importance. The whole deal. He believes in himself because Brian Daboll believes in him, and this whole team, strong, tough, determined, smart, gritty, and they're very comfortable with playing a game deep into the fourth quarter. They feel like they're going to win it. He developed that in 6 games. That's unbelievable.
They're playing with some passion. They are playing with some pop and keeping it clean when it comes to the turnovers. We do have to talk about turnovers on the other side of the ledger here because that's become commonplace for the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. First 2 weeks, he looked like an MVP. He looked worthy of the world when it comes to that contract he's negotiating. But over these last few weeks, it's 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions over the last 3 weeks. 2 of those interceptions coming late in the fourth quarter and, in a way, deciding games. What's the biggest issue with Lamar right now? Are you seeing him force it a little bit late in games?
Let's just focus on this one here today because your point is well taken and made, okay? The one here today was exactly what you were just describing, Joe, because it came off of a 3rd down after they had picked up a 1st down. They got called back due to a penalty because they lined up incorrectly. He picks it up on a sneak. That comes back. Now it's 3rd and 6. Snap goes awry because the motion was messed up, and I think everything he got distracted. He tried to make something out of nothing. He tried to make it a play that we would do on Thanksgiving Day in our backyard. In our backyard, Lamar Jackson is better than all of us. There's still NFL players out here. He forces it downfield. Julian Love picks it off. The Giants are in business. They go on and win the football game. That was a forced play when, with a lead and a good defense, throw it away, do something, punt the ball, take care of it. He didn't play situational football there. The Giants did down the stretch. Did you see Barkley sit down after the 1st down, end up the clock? That's situational football. The Giants have been doing that very well this year. That didn't happen this time for Baltimore. And yes, he forced it on that play, no doubt.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Saquon Barkley as well because I'd be remiss if we didn't celebrate what he's done thus far. Again, doubted and almost discarded, but Saquon back in a big way here. 771 yards from scrimmage thus far this season. They're just snapping him the ball at certain points and saying, go get it. How impressed have you been with Saquon thus far this year?
Extremely impressed because we knew the talent was there. And I know that Dave Gettleman, the former general manager, catches a lot of vitriol, but he wasn't wrong about what he thought about Saquon Barkley, that he had Hall of Fame potential, that he was that type of a player, because we see it. It's happening out here. derailed his last 2 years because of injuries. Now he gets another coach in here, and this coach believes in him as well. Brian Daboll, same thing with Saquon Barkley, and has put the game in his hands. He comes into this game the leading rusher and the leading receiver. As you mentioned, putting the Wildcat. Now, we've got to come up with a name. Ian and I have been trying to workshop a few things. I'm going with just the Quan.
Okay.
You know, because I'm going back to Rod Tidwell and Jerry Maguire. It's the whole. That's Saquon Barkley. But whatever we want to call it, there's going to be more that comes out of it. There'll be more counters to it, more running plays, some option stuff. And eventually, even though I predicted today would be the day and it didn't happen, he will throw the football from Wildcat. But this team is on his shoulders, even though Daniel Jones is the quarterback, and he's loving it. Remember, he's pressing runs now. He's not trying to bounce everything. He's taking the dirty ones and then turning it into bigger ones later. He's doing it all, and he's playing hurt.
Like Jerry asked the room, who's coming with me? Daboll asked the same question, and it's everybody on that roster right now. We appreciate you as always,
and Joe is more than Goldfish going with it. That's for sure. It's not just the Goldfish. He's bringing the whole roster. In his movie, everyone leaves their office and follows him. In this case, that's what's happening with Brian Daboll.
That is R. Charles Davis, and the man is always money. Thank you, CD.
Take care, Joe.
All right, let's take a look at the fantasy numbers coming out of this game. And Saquon Barkley, again, spectacular, 83 yards on the ground, another 12 through the air, and that late touchdown getting you up to 18 points. Lamar, if he's on your roster, you probably reached for him earlier in a non-quarterback round, and 17 points isn't going to do it when you're talking about the return on investment with an early pick, but you know what's coming. Lamar, he's just got to clean it up and limit those turnovers, especially late in games. Daniel Jones, call him a game manager, call him a system quarterback, call him what you want. Just don't call him for losses, because the Giants are 5-1. More HQ coming next.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.